So I'm right here, and it's my great pleasure and honor to be with Sara Ballasso. Sara comes from Italy, and she's a life coach. And thank you so very much for coming to my podcast, Good Stories, because they are good stories, actually, with each and every one of you. So this is like a mini series that we're doing, the break series. And I'm very happy to be introducing actually a life coach in this podcast, because I think it's like one of the things that have helped me so much in my own personal journey and in my life. And I want to know more about how you work with people and what you do actually, and what brought you actually to life coaching. So too many questions, but you can start from wherever you want to.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. So it's a pleasure. Okay, from where I started, actually, I think that the thought came to my mind when I was being a scout chief, because I've worked a lot with youths. And being there to see their growth was something that inspired me a lot. But also, I would have needed the same person, like a coach, to guide me during that period of time. Let's say around from 18 to 25, I think, mainly. Because I had trouble to figure out what I would have done with my life, not just the studies, because I knew what I liked and I just decided. I graduated in languages and literatures at a university in Venice. But I went there because I knew that I loved texts, understanding people from what they wrote, and understanding human beings from what they produce creatively. And I also love writing by myself. So it is something that I'm really working on. But I think that in that period of life, every possibility is still present, but we don't always have the instruments and the tools to get there.
And the guidance.
The guidance mainly, yeah.
The guidance.
Yeah.
Basically, what they tell us is that, you know what, you come from one sort of environment, you study something, and this is what you're going to become in your whole life. Nobody has actually told you that you evolve, that you're not the same person as you walk down the path of life. And may I say that I find this admirable, the fact that you have managed to combine actually literature, words basically, with life coaching and with guidance. And this is like so necessary actually in life. I've been, coached actually in life to arrive at the place where I am now. So I think it's like, not just Olympian athletes or athletes in general need a coach. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're talking about something interior, like not just, actual training, because coaching starts from your uniqueness and from your self-development and your awareness about yourself. So the first part of each kind of coaching program should focus on that. And then you go on by planning goals and how to achieve them by, you prepare your action plan through the guidance, of course, of the coach. So it is for you and not for everyone. I mean, not in the same kind.
Yes, because you mold it according to the needs of the person. So you basically start by, let's say, strengthening the core, the inner core of the person. So just explain to me the process that coaching works for people so that, more people can actually relate to it or understand it.
Yeah. So we start basically from kind of a brainstorming of what you are, what you like, what makes you feel good. And then we structure, this kind of thinking about your autonomy, your competencies, and your desires and needs, etc. But in particular, I work with the youths and with creative people and with creative young adults in particular, because I think that in that niche, there is a great need for guidance, because, art is somehow considered a bit like a job that is not always really a job, or something that is your hobby and that kind of stuff. And in Italy, I feel like a lot of people live with this kind of thinking, but there are people who...
trust me, in every country. Not just in
Good to know. Yeah.
No.
I'm just talking about where I have some field of research. Let's just say that, but I can imagine. Yeah.
No. Greece is like the same thing. Unless you're a teacher, a lawyer, public servant, or a doctor, you're basically following your hobby.
Yeah.
There you go.
And especially young adults, they have their parents there, millennial especially, because, crisis and lack of money, lack of resources. You're still there at home with your parents, and you pursue your hobbies again, not just, when do you get an actual work, an actual job, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I don't believe in that. So I really wanted to help people with that, guide people with that, because it is important for me too. I mean, it's not something that comes out of the blue.
It is important for everyone. I want to make a connection right here, because this is like your field of expertise and your work. For example, most people start doing therapy, let's say. Okay. Yeah. So how is life coaching actually different from therapy?
Yeah. Therapy focuses mostly on your past, on your wounds, and your emotional responses, your kind of behavior in that sense, while coaching is more action-oriented. So you start from the analysis of who you are and your potential and your uniqueness, etc., but it doesn't work toward the direction of healing yourself, but focusing on the present to go to the future. I am, of course, very supportive of therapy. It is very important. I'm one of those people who think that everyone should go to therapy for some periods of their life.
By all means.
Yes. But they can coexist, Something is, therapy is more past-oriented and present-oriented, while coaching is more focused on your goals and your objectives and your desires, establishing the life you want. But they are intertwined. So if in a certain moment of your life you feel that the need that you have to heal your wounds or to understand better yourself in that sense, you can go to therapy. But when you have the desire to, find the resources, create your action plan, have a guidance because everything seems a mess and you don't know where do you want to go or what do you really want, but you just feel that you're unsatisfied with your life, okay, you can go to a coach.
I think that you can also have, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can have like a pretty holistic approach. You can have a therapist and you can have a life coach, and you can kind of like detangle things more easily and probably like more quickly also, which is like very, very important. I wanted to ask you if you're open to work with anyone around the world, if you work digitally as well, because this is like a huge part. I know because my life coach was Swedish. So basically we worked digitally. We connected, via calls and Zoom calls and everything. So I wanted to ask you if this is also kind of like your approach, because I think it's also very, very useful and it's something that, one of the very amazing tools that unfortunately COVID has implemented in our lives. Yeah.
I'm working digitally right now, but I haven't prepared still the materials to work also through English language around the world or around Europe. I have written tracks because from one session to the following one, I give these like texts to think about yourself and to prepare your materials. So it's like an added value to the program. Okay.
Yes.
So it is important for me that people who work with me can have their full support on what they need. So right now I'm preparing stuff. I hope in the next 1-2 years to be able to have materials also to work across Europe.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
You will.
Since I've started 6 months ago, because previously I've been a teacher, so I know also about that.
That's very useful.
Yeah.
That is also something very, very useful, because that means that you have a lot of experience actually with, what people actually need, because you have been like observing behaviors, correct?
That is it. Yes. It's been 4 years, and I've seen youths from a closer perspective. I know at least for the majority of them what is needed and what they feel like, etc. So I've been observing a lot to establish this kind of job. So.
Okay. So, and what has been, let's say, the reason that you decided to come and incorporate into this community, of which you have been a huge part and a very, very useful one, because we kind of all need our own personal life coaching.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, the break could be an opportunity for me to understand my priorities, to develop my business first, but also to connect better with my emotions and my personal issues, because I've worked a lot also on anxiety crisis and panic attacks that came from a place where I didn't know what I could be, and to face the difficulties of being in an environment that maybe expected something else from you, or to cope with other people's needs, etc. So I'm kind of going on also with my personal path, and the break here has been a great, huge opportunity for that, because I'm feeling like I'm being cracking apart, like opening up.
Yes, I've been feeling the same thing as well, so I can share it. It's like a healing process, and also like a strategic approach actually for each and every one of us. So it's basically like combining maybe, a part of our past, what has brought us to the present, and also like each and every one of us gives us the tools to move forward in our lives.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much for being part of this community, and thank you so much for sharing your skills. And I cannot wait for you actually to put them out there in the whole world, actually in the whole universe, to be able for each and every one of us to reach out, because we really, really, really need you more than you can even imagine.
I'm so glad about that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this and of this adventure.